The next session, we have Shri Pradyumna Vyas, Board Member WDO and former Director, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. Pradyumna Vyas is a board member of WDO and former director of NID. He has more than 36 years of professional and teaching experience in different spheres of design. He has been at the helm of design promotion events in India. He was conferred the award of outstanding contribution to education by World Education Congress in the year 2015. He has also been honored with Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016 and 2017, as well as the honor of Good Design Fellow by Japan Institute of Design Promotion, Tokyo. His talk today will be about the emerging future of design. Over to you, Pradyumna.
Thank you, Sambit. Good afternoon to all the students. First of all, congratulations because you have got selected in UID, and also you have chosen design as a career. And the future is very much for the design career. So you will realize after some years that you have taken a right decision for choosing design as a discipline to look into this, what future is lying for us in this area. I would have very much liked to meet all of you if you would have been there in the institute, but unfortunately, the COVID-19 has put us in such a situation that last 1.5 years, everything is online. We have adopted it very well, and the learning is going on, but one would surely like to meet personally. And whenever the chance will be there, when you will be joining, I would personally come and welcome you there. Now, you see that technology, we are just depending on technology for communication, for learning, for everything. It's really moving very, very fast. We're not realizing that how fast it has moved in last 30, 40 years, meaning you try and visualize something and suddenly you realize that technology has changed. How will you do that? How will you really get into it? How it will come for the society? All those questions are there where the design, strategic design thinking is really working it. Let me go a little bit in the background of the technology, how it has come, what all has happened, what are the good points, where we have landed up in problems because of the technological developments and all. The life on planet for many, many billion years, it is just gone. People have survived, people have lived with nature, everything has happened. But last 500 years or so has made a huge difference in the way we have started developing. And the first industrial revolution, which was in 1760, which was a steam engine. Actually, steam engine was invented in 1760, and the power was generated that from the human power to animal power to got into the steam power. And then you started looking into that how you make products which are useful for you. So the textile mills started working on, the steam engine started taking it for the transportation. So this was the first industrial revolution. The second one was when the electric power came up. And this was the time, second industrial revolution is a very strong landmark, and you should remember it. It was 1817, after 70, after 100 years of first industrial revolution. And design has emerged during that time in second industrial revolution. And this was the mass production, your automobile assembly line, making one product after another, and trying to make, meaning bringing down the cost and making product in numbers. And then this design, which was in 19, to be precise, 1919, it has started in Bauhaus in Germany for making products suitable to human beings. It's a kind of convenient products, easy to manufacture, easy to, and that has boosted the career of design actually. And you started looking into that how design education is looking into streamlining of the mass production. But the mass production also has its own problems which we are facing environmentally. So the second industrial revolution also has done a lot of damage because the consumption centric approach has happened, and we are facing the problems of the nature is becoming very hostile, the climate issues are coming, meaning greenhouse effects and all, and your generation actually are more aware about environment than our generation, because we and my previous generation more on a consumeristic thing, which we are looking into only products created or service created for the benefit of individuals, and the product which is tried to possess, I have this car, I have that car, I have this comfort, I have that comfort. All these things were self gratification, and that is the way design was moving forward. Now, when continuous shocks which are happening, I think we are looking in investigating into future, and that is the topic about where the future of design which we have to really take forward, that the quality of life on this planet is actually sustained in a better way, rather than this all aspects of calamities which we are looking, natural disasters which we are looking into. It will not take it the way it is happening. Just to let you know, that second industrial revolution, consumerist centric economy, the consumption of the developed countries, the way they are using the energy which is coming from the oil or the coal, the energy requirement, if India and China, and in fact India and China has started using that energy, we need four planet Earth. One planet Earth will not be able to really satisfy the need which are coming up in India and China. So we have to look into future in a very different way. The third industrial revolution was IT, information technology. And information technology, which came in around 1970, has made India as a power, because we know English very well. Our generally English language is commonly understood, and we are good. Lots of engineering colleges. I don't know, 10 million, meaning 1.6 million engineers, which we are coming out every year. So good technology, human resource, English. These two things have brought IT revolution in this country and made more or less underdeveloped country to developing country, or in fact now many places we are very well developed, par with better than some of the developed world. But this IT has really helped us, which has given a lot of money to the young people in our country. And that's why you see that when money comes, the design comes. And when there was only one design school, 1961 NID, and then 1969 IIT, now there may be at least 10 design schools are there in Ahmedabad, because there is a need. There is a more need of designers. So that's why I'm saying that you have taken a right decision, because the need of the designer is growing more than engineers and managers. Because eventually you have to consolidate everything and then bring it forward, and economic development bring in creative industry together. But we have to be a little cautious about how to go, and that is what I want to tell you, because you are starting your career in design. So we are now in a fourth industrial revolution, and the fourth industrial revolution is a digital revolution. All of you know that the fusion of technology which is happening, physical, digital, biological, spheres are getting merged. Because of the fourth industrial revolution, I'm talking to you, and you are listening, and we have an easy way of communication, because of it is called Internet of Things. So Internet of Things is fourth industrial revolution. Rapid prototyping or 3D printing is fourth industrial revolution. Big data is a fourth industrial revolution. Augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality is fourth industrial revolution. Robotics is fourth industrial revolution. So all of these which you talk about, the robotics, artificial intelligence, the big data, AR, VR, which you will be learning in thing. So you see that they're all connected. The world is becoming smaller and boundaryless because of these fourth industrial revolution. It has advantage, and if it is not understood properly, it can also harm in a big way. And understood properly is the discipline of design, which connect society, planet, and technology in a context. So the definition of design is humanizing technology is design, humanizing technology. Human centered is a very, very strong thing. And other thing is contextual use of technology is design. So when you are joining the design education, time and again, you will be just talking about context, context, context. Is it a rural context? Is it an urban context? It's young people or old people or less able people or woman, gender. All these aspects are the context in which you will be really looking into. And that is what makes the design education very powerful, because the people and context come first and technology supports. Most of the time, lot of economical development or the engineering development are supported by technology. We are saying technology is enabler. Technology is there to support innovations and realizing innovation into tangible product, services, systems. But uh, if we just look into technology, it can really create a menace which is happening actually, which is the pollution. We can't breathe air, meaning what is the point of technological and consumption and all these things if suppose you can't breathe the air. So I think that's why the design education become very, very important. Now let me bring you somewhere to talk about the country in which you are born, which is India. And India has a very uniqueness, and that you must realize. We were very much enamored with the Western world, with all the developments and other kind of things which are happening. We always looking into the products which have been because of the economic strength of Western world which was there. And you always felt that anything which is coming from the West is better, not realizing that the strengths which you have are going to solve long term issues which world is facing. This is what I want to make you realize, that you have knowledge. We have knowledge which is coming from the culture, which is coming from the tradition, which is coming from the grassroots. I think if that knowledge you bring it into the classroom, what are you going to really achieve is that to provide a sustainable future. Because India is more than 5,000-year-old civilization. It has survived very well. Lot of developed economies, the past may not be so big and large, which is there in India. Look at the diversity this country has. You cannot say that, oh, what is the weather of India? Ahmedabad, it is very sultry, and you go up in north, it is freezing temperature, and you go in some places it is flooding and something like that. You cannot have a generic comment that India, this is the climate and this kind of food which we eat and this kind of clothing which we wear. We cannot say like that. This kind of festivals we have. We are very, very diverse country. And I think you guys who are just getting into design education, first thing is start respecting and investigating your culture and traditions. They are the very, very strong triggering points to take forward for the sustainable future. And you can become global leader in your thinking by working on your indigenous knowledge. You cannot become the global leader by borrowed knowledge which is coming forward. So start respecting. It should not happen that somebody else is telling that turmeric is good and then you realize the turmeric is good, or somebody else is saying ki Ayurveda is good, so then you start talking about this. You find out what is the strength of your culture, tradition or so. And the institute where I have worked for 30 years, I will talk about it. It built on these value systems. The values which have been inculcated in NID's student is that the build a future on the traditional knowledge which is there. And I think all design schools where NID graduates are there, they are taking the design philosophy which they have learned there into those. So all over the country, some or the other link of NID is there. If you join here, you will find that the faculty members who either have studied or who have worked in NID are bringing that. And it's a very successful, what the new education policy today talking about, multidisciplinary approach in NID, which we were practicing in 1961. And those people who have come to your institute are also practicing the multidisciplinary approach, transdisciplinary approach, bringing field into the classroom, going to the field and learning from the all these aspects which are there, which look into. But be proud that cultural diversity, the socio-economic cultural variations which are there, I think that is a great thing to know about it. Please read about Indian culture, thoughts and traditions, and try and see that how you can bring out this tacit knowledge in the explicit knowledge. The second industrial revolution which I was talking about has connection with this. In second industrial revolution, somewhere this has very multicolored thing. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Kashmir, Tamil Nadu, all the foods and everything were so different. Now you see that this whole area of mass productions, all cities have started looking same. You go to the shopping malls, whether you are in Chennai or whether you are in Srinagar, they may look around. So the homogenization of this whole culture started happening in the second industrial revolution because of the mass productions things started. The heterogeneity, which is the unique, the people are coming to Gujarat, to see Poles, to see Stepwell. But if suppose everything is finished and just you see Levi's or just see the Burger King and these things, so you go to Calcutta, it is the same. And if you go to Gujarat, it is the same. In Jaipur, you see this homogenization is a loss of culture in the second industrial revolution. And I think we need to really build in with the fourth industrial revolution to see that how we maintain the heterogeneity, because the heterogeneity is the music of this country, and that is what we need to really bring in and to take this forward. So when we talk about technology, technology is enabler. Technology helps innovation into a tangible product services system. And innovation is recognized as the single topmost important ingredient for the economic development. If you don't innovate, you will perish. Continuous innovation, but just innovation, just ideas are not enough. It requires the process. It requires the process to look into context that innovation, to see that how it benefits to the society, how it benefits to the environment. And that is what you are going to learn. I don't know you guys, you must be coming from all over the country in this. You are coming into the bringing in different kind of cultures in this place, but try and be receptive about that this innovation which is going to change the future has to go through a very sensible design process which you are going to learn. And the cultural aspect which you have learned in your native places, also bring in that knowledge and see that how you can process and innovate a newer thing with that base which is there, like the crafts of your place. If you have a lovely craft, the person is making it continuously, may not have any relevance today because plastic have come or some other materials have come. But your intelligence, can we really look into creating something, a toy which is made out of wood or stone or something like that, which gives the benefit of to the people also. Because you see, the decentralization is a big power designer can have, who can work in remotest part of the country with the communities which have a very strong cultural knowledge, and where faculty members which are there with you can assist you, and seeing that you create something which benefits to society. Back of your mind, anything you do, you have to see that the social benefit certainly should be there. Now, please, many of you may not be knowing about it because you just left the school and joining or college. You must look into sustainable development goals by United Nations. There are 17 goals. There are 17 goals. Design fusion with those 17 goals will really make a good place for you in the future. And this social and sustainable aspect which we are talking about, sustainable development goals, is not that you are doing some charity or you are doing something. You have to make money, but you have to make money with a purpose. You have to make money. You have to make money with seeing that some people are getting benefited it. I'm not asking you that you go and become just start working and doing the seva. No, charity is not sustainable. You do the work which you make the money, you sustain the ecology, and you also give better quality of life to people. That is what I think is the future which you have to look into. And 17 sustainable development goals are going to this aspect. And as I said, that I have spent 30 years of my life at NID. And the knowledge which I have gained, I tell you, is that this institute, which was built by the people who have a great wisdom of culture, great wisdom of tradition, great wisdom. In fact, Charles and Rahim, sometimes you should read India Report. It talks a great thing. The new education policy is talking about the person was talking in 1958-59. And the founding faculty Jay Panchal is your design director actually. Now look at who's the person, and I think Samit, you are also an ID graduate, and these are the people who have been who nurtured the NID. You know, it's like Jay Panchal, Professor Jay Panchal, who is the leader in design in your institution, must have been spent 40 years there and build that institution. So now that understanding which he has, that understanding Sambit has, who has studied with those people, are really having a knowledge with purpose, with which can do something good to people and help in making the money. And I think there is a what you call the huge knowledge base these faculty who have Professor J Panchal and Sambit who are there, and then many other who will be there. I think talk to them about their past, what they were doing, what kind of project they were taking it in. You will learn from it. So I think you are blessed that these people are there who are going to mentor you and who have a very deep rooted knowledge about design, who will be giving you this thing. So I specifically wanted to make you this thing. Even people, just to let you know that even IDC Industrial Design Center in IIT Mumbai, which started in 1969, there were people went from this NID only who started it. So all education systems where you see there is a very strong base where it has been evolved. The education has been evolved, which is very purposeful. The education which is evolved, very meaningful. The education which helps you in taking the decisions, which helps you in making thought leaders. Now, education system in India earlier was that Britishers' time, the way they had developed it, that they wanted people to work in industry. They wanted the knowledge you learn from the classroom, you do it, and then you will be a good worker, youth manager, and then whatever things which were going on, we're doing. Now the education policy is changing. It is the new education policy is making you become entrepreneur. Forget about employer. You become employer. If you become employer, you have to take decisions. You have to take risks, and you have to move forward. And I think that is what really will help you in making the thought leaders. It is not going to be education with the textbook. There are no textbooks which are there in design. You will not be spoon fed. You will be given to think yourself. Faculty will facilitate you. Very strong faculty will let you grow, and you just listen to them, discuss with them, and take it forward. Now, lastly, I would just like to tell that knowledge is one thing. Unless your attitude is right, you cannot become a successful professional. And there are some great ingredients are there to have a right kind of attitude. And right attitude allows you to think fresh, to look into in a very objective way, and also have a rational way of looking at it. Design is nothing but a rational way in resolving the problem. It is not activist way, but it is more rationalistic way you really address the problem. And I will talk to you some future, because we don't have much time, that one group of people say ban the plastic, ban the plastic. That is an activist way. But design way, you will say that if you ban the plastic, what is the alternative? Let us look into it. Otherwise, there are some other issues which we need to sort it out. And that is the rational way in dealing with problem which you are going to learn here. So what are the ingredients I would like you to have in your personality to develop a great aptitude for designer in future? One is optimistic. You have to be optimistic. I can do it. It is possible. I can take it forward. And it's nothing which is impossible. That attitude has to be there, that I can do it. So first is optimistic. Discipline. Laziness is not going to work. The world is going very fast, and you will be left behind if you are lazy. You are not really following the time schedule. So the discipline becomes very important. Analytical, not just listening and taking the decision. Analyze it in your own mind. Have your own rationality to see that how you can really analyze it and come on to the logical conclusion. That is called the design process. Respectful. Be respectful not only to the authority but to everyone. Respectful to the animals, respectful to the elders, respectful to the society and fabric, who be humble. In fact, the respectful is that as a human being, you have to be respectful for everyone. Don't be arrogant, because arrogance will not take you anywhere. Keep your head on your shoulder, you will be all right. I think the respectful will make you a human being. And that is a quality which you have to really bring in to be a designer, because designer cannot afford to be arrogant. And if you are arrogant, please change your attitude. If you think that you know and you want to prove that you know already, you are refusing to learn. The biggest quality of any learner is the open to ideas, open to things. The day you say I know it, then finished. You are finished. You are not open to learning. Ethical. I think the ethics is very important. The ethical practices, the what you call that, what is right, stand by it. Don't try and slip out on easy way out. If something is that honesty is the best policy, long run it will pay. In future, if you are honest, if you are having a real purpose to the thing, I think it will go long way. And I am not giving you just lecture that okay, that some moral lecture. No, these are the ingredients which are required for the successful professionals, and it is time and again is proved the longevity survive with the ethical practices and honesty and sincere effort. No shortcut in life. You have to have a sincere effort, which you can do. And I think since you have come in, many of you must be staying in hostel. You have been living in a very protected environment with your parents, and liking the food which has been cooked at home, and now you're shifting gear in coming into the college, that you have to bear it. You cannot throw tantrum that this I don't like and this is not my taste and this is not. Now the real world has started for you, and real world is started with the food first, and then you see that you have to survive that where there are no parents to hold you, and we want you to become individual, and then these challenges will come. So to become this individual, I think you have to work on what I have told you, that look into this. End of the day, you have to earn the name in a way where your parents feel proud about you, that you have done something purposeful in life, because life is only one which we get. Either you just slip out with doing these shortcuts in life and just survive like thousands of people are surviving and living it, or you make this difference in the society with your knowledge which you'll be learning here. Now I think you're privileged to get admission in design school like UID. You're privileged that this institute is going to empower you to really work towards doing something good. And if you just be sincere, otherwise you will pass, and then you will become designer and all, but the opportunity is lost. So I think use this opportunity to make best, and see that it is not only parents but the institute and the society feel proud about you, and they feel that yes, it's worth living. And this is the beginning, first step you are taking. I thought I should tell you that steps which you will take, which will really take you to the higher heights, and wish you all the very best for your future. And you really, I urge that you really, what your parents and what your teachers are expecting, or what society is expecting, you will fulfill there in coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pradimna, so much. You were so articulate about listing out the ingredients for the right attitude of a designer and, in extension, a design student. And I would also like to say, I really love the quote which you said, heterogeneity is indeed the music of this country. So I feel as all designers and design students, we are all responsible. We have a responsibility of building a future on the strong foundation of this country's rich and diverse cultural heritage and the wisdom of coexistence with nature. Thank you so very much for reiterating and reminding us all over again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.